So I've just opened the pedals for a BMW. This is a 5 Series BMW, and these are the pedal replacements. This is the footrest. This is the gas pedal, and this is the brake pedal. And there were no instructions included, so I'm going to attempt to provide some instructions to make this a little bit easier for people doing this in the future. Now there are 10 of these pieces. This is a screw. It's got a hex shape. It comes with the tool to tighten, and then it's got a washer and the bolts. You got the nut, screw, bolt. These correspond to the brake pedal and the gas pedal, and then the footrest comes with a different set of screws. These appear to just be the type of screw that, just a regular screw. It's not a self-tapper, but I'm going to drill a pilot hole and then screw those in. So I'll head out to the car and pick up with you there. All right, so here we are. We're on the driver's side, and what you're going to want to do, we're going to start with the brake pedal, and there's a rubber piece on here, and you're going to just pull it off right on the bottom, and it should come right off, okay? And then you're going to match up this plate, and you're going to do that in order to identify where you're going to actually drill the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and get my drill and make a mark for where I'm going to make each of these holes. All right, so on this next step, I've used a blue painter's tape, and I've affixed the pedal, the new pedal, to the actual brake after removing the rubber pad. And then you're going to want to drill a pilot hole for each of the 4 holes. I'm using a 1/16 of an inch metal drill. So here we go. I'll check back in with you in a moment. All right, here we are. I've drilled 4 holes, and that aligns with where I had the pedal taped up. I started with a 1/16 of an inch drill and then worked my way up to 1/8 of an inch, and the screws seem to slide right in at this point. So now I'm going to go ahead and hook the pedal up. All right, so the pedal slid right on, and fortunately it all lined up. Then they include this tool here, which you put the nut in the back, and then you're going to use the hex screw in the front, and so you'll put it in there just like that, and you want to grab the hex screw and screw each one of these with the nut in the back. All right, there we go. It's fully installed. I forgot to mention you need to put the washer on the back before you put the nut in, and then just tighten them each up, and then you got a pretty firm and sturdy installation there. So probably the most difficult part was drilling the holes, but besides that, it went right in. So I'll try to take another video here of the next 2 pieces. All right, here we go. I have removed the black rubber traction piece for the gas pedal. I've taped it in position. The difference here is that I'm not drilling through steel. I'm drilling through plastic. A concern that I have is that the width of this is much deeper than it is for the steel plate. So hopefully we've got the length. It appears that we do at the top. It gets smaller, so wish me luck. All right, so all 4 of the holes were drilled. I used the same 1/16 pilot to get started, and finished with, hold on, I'll tell you in a second. A 1/8 inch. One challenge was that the bottom right screw is much deeper than this. So we'll have to see what we do. I may have to glue the final screw in. All right, hang with me. Okay, here we are. The last screw, it's so deep, it's probably that deep of plastic in the back. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of super glue or Gorilla Glue on the tip of the screw, and then I'm going to put it in that last hole. Alright, so here we are. I've got a little bit of Gorilla Glue on this, and I'm just going to slide it right in. There we go. And I'll let that sit, and I won't drive it for a little bit. All right, 2 down. So I'm on to this last one, and so this is your footrest, and you know, it appears that this might come off, but I can't actually seem to get it off, so I may just drill right through that. And the difference with this one is, I think I showed this earlier, is that it's actually got screws, and you figured they'd be self-tappers, but they're not. So I'm going to go ahead and drill. I'll mark my drill holes, and then go ahead and drill those in, kind of like wood screws. Okay, here we go. All right, taped in place. These bottom screws are pretty easy. One of them had to go through the aluminum. These top screws, I'm having trouble getting to. You actually can barely just see that two little dots up there. And the challenge is that my drill is a little long, so I'm trying to get the screws to go in perpendicular to the plate, and it's hard because I can't fit my drill back there, but I'm gonna give it a go. All right, I got the last one on. This was pretty tricky. Just really the top screws getting a reach up there in order to drill a hole. I ended up using a hole punch from my knife and pushing it in to create a little dent, and I was able to get a drill bit up there and push the drill bit through. The final bit I used was, hold on, and again a 1/8. On the bottom two I drilled pilot holes and then used the 1/8. On the top one I just pushed it through the 1/8 inch drill bit. So looks pretty good. I'll take one more quick pick with all my tools out of the way. All right, here's the final product. We're all done. Obviously looks a lot better, worth the 30 bucks or so. I would rate the difficulty of install, 1 being really easy, 10 being really difficult, probably around a 6. I think it took me about an hour in total. I'm moderately handy. I'm certainly not the most handy guy. Recommendations would be to have a really good 1/16 drill bit, one that's made for metal, should be able to go right through. And be patient and you'll get it. Also, I didn't take off the plate that was behind the footrest. So good luck. Email me if you've got any questions.